If you don't mind me asking, how old are you and how much money have you made?
So I'm 21 and I've made $54,000.
Have you paid tax on that?
I have not paid tax, so that is 54K tax free. So yeah, celebrated 50K a few weeks ago.
What did you do with that?
Yeah, so not a lot of people know what I'm doing, so I got very excited myself. So I hit 50K that I've tracked, and then I went to Woolies and bought a chocolate mud cake and put the numbers 50 on it and celebrated that by myself. And my mate will mop in the bar floor at like 2 in the morning. And he goes, so how much did you make today? And I was like, yeah, 4 or 5K.
Just to clarify, you've been doing this for 12 months with sustainability. You've had hundreds of accounts and only 3 bands. And on top of that, you get the reloads and deposit offers too. Welcome to the System Podcast, episode number 12. Today we have JP, Steve, and myself as your hosts. I'm Lenny, if you don't know me. And we have Greeny as a special guest.
Hello. Hi, Lenny. How are you?
Are we going with that?
We're off.
Keep going.
I'll let JP introduce Greeny for us.
So Greeny's here today. He's another member of the 50K club. I actually reached out to him yesterday because we decided to film a podcast, and I said to Steve, we don't want to just do it with me, Steve, and Lenny because they reckon no one would listen. So, yeah, all that. But I said to Steve, how long do you reckon it'll take me to get a guest on? And he goes, you're no hope. And Lenny witnessed a world record 98 seconds response from Greeny here, and he said, yeah, we're on. So we got him out of the community. He's been a member now for, maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself.
Now. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, cool. So I'll let you explain because we don't like to talk for you. So maybe tell us a bit about your gambling history before coming across us. Talk about how you found us and then anything you want to share regarding your journey, and then we can ask more specific questions after that.
Yeah, easy. So I kind of started when I was about 18 or so. One of my mates was putting like a bonus on.
Yeah.
About $1.40. He put a $100 bonus on. Or $250 bonus at $1.40 and then matched it and made like $20-$30. He's like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. This is free money. Yeah. And then I kind of went home and I kind of just like worked out ways to kind of make a little bit more than that from a bonus turnover.
What did you, we heard that story before.
Yeah.
What were the more intricate details regarding that bet? Because we heard about it was on the same company and also...
Yeah, same company. So it was just a random NBA game.
Yeah.
He put a $250 bonus on an NBA team paying $1.40.
On the favourite.
On the favourite.
Yeah.
And then laid the underdog and bet on the underdog on the same company and made $30.
Nice.
From it.
And he was stoked with that?
And he was stoked.
Yeah.
Stoked. At lunch,
12% bonus turnover.
At lunch, elite 12%. And he came up to us and he's like, mate, I just, $30. It's ridiculous. Like, you can grab some beers with this. And then I kind of went home and I was like, maybe you can make a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of played around with lines and stuff to kind of work it out. But
we'll speak about that little method you found a little bit later. It's definitely something that I think a lot of Platinum members or even System members will actually use once we discuss what that method was a bit later. But so prior to that, were you a gambler yourself?
Not really, to this point where I'd put maybe $2. My stake was never more than $5.
Yeah.
That was kind of a hard and fast rule. But every bet that I ever placed before that was $2 to $5 would lose. Yeah. So I was kind of like, there's no way that this would actually be feasible kind of thing for anything. It would just be, the typical 20-leg multis. Yeah. Just like, or every result in the footy kind of thing.
That's pretty interesting. So I don't reckon there's too many people out there. I reckon I'm probably sitting next to 2 of them actually at the moment with you and Lenny that have sort of somewhat taught yourself match betting, and that's how you've sort of come across it, is actually through just thinking yourself, being like, there's a way to make money here, guaranteed. Well, I guess you've sort of come across it through your mate, but then you've sort of taken it upon yourself with your own sort of, I guess, thought process and critical thinking. You haven't actually been told about someone, hey, this thing exists, this match betting sort of thing exists. So when he told you about this, then what happened? Did you go on Google match betting? Or you wouldn't have even known what match betting was, I suppose.
I had no idea what match betting was. I didn't know how to get bonus bets. He just told me that he just deposited into Ladbrokes and did it through that.
Nice.
And then I kind of just did some research, and then I kind of went, what if the NBA teams were more even odds? Yeah. So what if they were $1.90 each? And I was like, you can make more money that way. And then I was like, oh, what if you bet on 2 NBA teams paying $1.90 and you bet on the other 2 results?
Yeah.
Across those kind of things just kind of went through my head.
Yeah.
And then I kind of worked out that, one of the best ways was to put 2 lines on. And I was like, oh, that can get me 66%.
Yeah.
And then I kind of did the maths in my head and I was like, oh, 66% from, $100 bonus, that's $66.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
nice.
was like, that you can make, and then kind of progress from there. And I was like, oh, all these different bookies, they have sign-up bonuses. And I spoke to some of my mates about it. I was like, oh, no, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't be feasible. And then I did it and showed him, and it's like, oh, okay. It actually does work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then from there, how do you sort of progress to where you are now? We'll get to that later, but
Yeah, so, I kind of didn't really know where the end goal was. But I kind of worked out, betting on football games that have 3-leg, 1 leg fails, you get money back. And then I kind of worked out if I get a bonus bet, I can turn that over 66% kind of thing. And I had no idea about the horse system or anything. And then I came across a video by Steve talking about it. And then I learned about the sports system, joined the system. And from there...
Learned about the horse system, sorry?
I learned about the horse
Sorry,
system first.
Yeah.
And that was quite nice. And then, progressed from there and started betting every Saturday. And then eventually joined the Hustler Squad. And one of the best decisions I've made, I reckon, doing that.
Yeah,
So-
you took a while. Well,
Yeah,
firstly,
yeah.
what was the video you found of Steve's? Apparently,
Talking about the sports bet, about how much would you pay for a sports bet.
one
Pretty
of his
iconic video.
most famous. I think it got 240,000 views, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
got a lot of hate.
So my sports bet's actually worth something, because at the time I thought, once you have that initial deposit, that's it. Your account's done.
The classic match betting
Literally.
sort of
Yeah.
idea that everyone thinks, it's fantastic. You can make money off
Fantastic.
sign-up offers,
Straight
but
away.
then you're done.
And then you're done. And then your account gets banned, and then...
But then you sort of took it on the initiative yourself to actually start making profit off the same game multi ones. Is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yes.
That's a pretty sort of advanced sort of way to do it. You've almost gone straight to the top in terms of, I guess, the difficulty in terms of risk reward. And there's a lot of other risks associated with same game multi promos, but you've just launched straight into those ones. So talk us through that. How did that go? Did you make much off that by yourself? Did you make any mistakes, any challenges there? How was that?
Yeah, so I kind of worked out, Sportsbet had this promotion where if, across every game, they had 3 bonus back offers. So what I would do is I'd put the line on for a game, and then I'd put 2 $1.10 to $1.20 legs. And then the idea is that if they hit, great. If they don't, you're able to get the bonus back. Mm-hmm. And then I'd turn that over. And I kind of made a little group chat where I didn't pay anyone, but it was didn't get anyone to pay me, where it was my dad and like a few of my mates. And we made about $6K each on $50 stakes for the AFL season.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Which
was
quite
this
nice.
during COVID?
Sounds
when
like
they-
COVID.
During COVID
It's
when
the
they had
COVID
that.
promos.
And then I was like, oh, this is great. Some of my mates went on holidays with that money, which was ridiculous, which was really good to see. But then a lot of them lost their Sportsbet accounts and then didn't really know where to go from there. So that's where I kind of struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
And then eventually found the video and worked out, you can actually have advanced sustainability and stuff. And yeah.
you don't mind me asking, how old are you and how much money have you made since then?
Yes. So I'm 21 and I've made $54,000, which I don't know if you can say anything, but yeah.
54th. In how long?
In doing it properly, just over a year. But
Nice. So 54 is including the 6 or no?
not including the 6.
Okay, so
if you-
since you've
But
joined.
yeah, I didn't really...
Have you paid tax on that?
I have not paid tax, so that is $54K tax-free since joining the system,
Nice.
which is quite nice.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, celebrated $50K a few weeks ago, which
What
was...
did you do with that? I heard about
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah, so I don't know, because not a lot of people know what I'm doing, so I got very excited myself.
Yeah.
So I hit 50K that I've tracked, and then I went to Woolies and bought a chocolate mud cake and put the numbers 50 on it and
nice.
celebrated that
Sing
by myself.
Or did you sing happy birthday in this
No,
situation?
I didn't. I just
ate the cake.
just ate the cake, looked
Yeah,
at it, and was like, oh yeah, go. Man.
That's
I was like,
Do
yeah.
you have a photo of that?
I don't.
Oh,
Private
no.
victories, but
Yeah, fair.
they'll call
yeah, it
bluff
was
on
funny.
that.
Yeah.
Paid actor.
Yeah,
Paid
that's
actor.
a paid actor, yeah. That's
Yeah.
not bad. 54 grand
54
in
grand
12 months. And
in
so you're
1 month.
studying at uni
Yes.
at the moment. Are you working on the side, or is this your full-time sort of salary? Is this your full-time income? How does it sort of complement your lifestyle at the moment?
So I'm working at this bar in the city, maybe once every 2 weeks, one shift every 2 weeks.
Nice.
Just to kind of, because I enjoy the people there, and it's quite a nice
bit of
social
activity.
thing.
Yeah.
And that will be a Friday or a Saturday night kind of thing. But
Nice.
this is kind of my main thing while I'm at uni and everything.
So has that changed since you started match betting?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
I used to go to uni, and then work maybe 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And now it's once a fortnight,
It's nice, isn't it?
which is very, very nice.
Are
which
you
I
doing
love.
that because you feel like you still have to have something to work? Like, you could go without that.
I could go without
But
it,
you still
100%. I honestly just do it for the social aspect.
Yeah.
of
What
it.
is
Good mates,
what does
so.
match betting like allowed you to do with your rest of your time now that you're not working?
Oh, yeah, so much more spare time. I mean, I'm playing a lot more sport now, which is great, and I'm allowed to travel now, which is awesome. I've got the means and time to travel, which is really nice, and don't have to be stuck with I got to be working while juggling uni. It's freed up a lot of uni time as well, which is awesome.
Nice. I have a question because I have a feeling a lot of people watching this will like to hear the 54K and they think you've made that straight away, like in terms of like the progression. So I know we can talk about your unit size and stuff in a second, but was the 54K earned like consistently? For example, 54 divided by 12 is what, like four and a bit.
Yeah.
Was it 4.5 sort of K a month, or was it like 2K at the start and then now you're sort of making 5-6K a month?
It was a lot more gradual. So I started off with $50 unit sizes when joining the system.
Yeah, okay.
And now I'm at 150.
Yeah.
And now I have the sports system as well, which I'm in. So it's definitely
So for
expanded.
anyone listening, obviously $50 units starting off on the system is very much like, I'm pretty sure we like pulled you up on that at the start.
Yeah, you did. I remember.
I don't know if you listened or not. A clip maybe you didn't. But
I arrogantly didn't listen.
well,
but,
no, you're in your position now because you've been able to upskill and you understand how to sustain those higher unit sizes. But obviously now $150 units, you're making 3 times the amount as you would on a $50 unit size.
Exactly.
And you're also on what's your unit size for the sports? You're on the first sports system?
just 50. Just
50,
50.
okay, so
but
50
I
on
should
that.
scale it up, but I just...
So you've made roughly 5
6K?
on the sports?
On the sports, 5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, nice. And your mates were asking you, maybe tell us the story we were briefly chatting before about the fact that they were a little bit baffled by you paying $1,000 for that.
Yeah, so funny story about that. So I was the last person to sign up on the sports system on the first,
okay.
and I was out with my mates that day, and then we were just having a beer, and I bought the sports system, and they're like, "Oh, how much did you pay for that?" Expecting 100 or 200, and I was like, "Yeah, it was 1,000." And they're like, "Oh, that's ridiculous, whatever." One of my mates asked me about a month ago, "Oh, so how much is that made?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, 5-6K," and he's like, "Oh." Okay, so maybe so maybe it was worth it, the kind of thing.
It's funny,
it's-
in hindsight, like when people, it's like when someone buys platinum, they can either look at it as a cost or they can look at it as what it's going to make them in 12 months or 24 months.
As an investment, 100%.
You need to just, like, we've been talking a lot about this, people having this, I don't know, attachment to money.
Yeah.
And I guess it's warranted in some cases, but some people like have money, but they won't part with it because they just can't. And they fail to see what's going to come from that money. Like me personally, like I've seen money come and go throughout my life, so I maybe have a better relationship with it.
Yeah.
But if I see something that can domino into something, I will have no hesitation on spending it. Whereas other people, I think, are maybe a bit struggling with it. But it seems like you're someone who's, I don't know, you're 21, and most 21-year-olds are pretty hesitant to spend anything significant.
Yeah.
But then they go out and spend it anyway.
Spend money on drinks or expensive
it's a funny
dinners.
one.
So I don't really understand most of that.
So none of your mates have got involved with this?
Some of my mates have kind of half tried, but not the horse system or anything.
Yeah.
More just like, they see a deposit offer and know how to make 65% bonus turnover, and are pretty switched on with that, which is still good.
Yeah, that's good.
And for the amount of work that they put in, they still make a little bit, but they're still working 4 nights, 5 nights a week at uni.
So that really baffles me a little bit, because obviously you're here, you're talking to them, and you're telling them, look, guys, I've made 50 grand doing this. They understand the concept of match betting because they're turning over bonus bets. So they're already progressed a lot further along than the
Yes.
general gambler, the general punter, the general person in public. Yet they're still not wanting to then take the next step where they can really cash in and like make money like you.
Of course.
Is there any particular reason why they don't want to then take it further? And I'm not saying get them into the
of
system.
course.
If you want an affiliate code, we can sort you out. But I'm not saying that. But I'm more just wondering from their perspective. Like they know it works. They're already doing it to some degree. Why do they not want to then go and make 50 grand like you? Like they've seen it work, unless they think you're lying, which I'm sure they don't. Like, do you talk to them about that?
Yeah, I try to, but I think kind of what JP kind of touched on a little bit earlier is that people have a bit of an attachment to money. Like, for example, the hustler fees, they think, oh, yeah, I'm losing that money. They don't see that as, oh, I will learn, 50K strategies from that's a,
and
yeah.
there's no time, like, yeah, cool, you might say promos may end in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, who knows? Like, but you have an opportunity to now make more. You're not going to stop at 50. I guarantee you'll probably end up in excess of 100.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
It's
Yeah,
clear.
but like,
It will though, but he spent $1,000 on that, or whatever it is, plus the system. You probably invested, I don't know, 2.5K total so far, and
on everything.
54K up. So
which is ridiculous.
So I want to circle back to one thing as well before we move on. So I'm very interested because you sort of started out with the same game multi-promo and you basically somewhat taught yourself how to use the same game multi-promos. Now that you're in the sports system, were you hesitant first question, I suppose, were you hesitant getting into the sports system because you already sort of like were doing your own sort of sports method? First question. And then second question, what has been the benefits of getting into the sports system having already been doing your own sort of somewhat sports method? What's the differences? Is there positives, negatives? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, as I said before, I was the last person to join it. I was, very hesitant at the start just because, again, arrogantly, I know kind of what I'm doing. But the sports system, it allows me to just see the tip, place it for 10 minutes, and then it's done. I used to have to spend maybe 2-3 hours looking at markets, looking at promos to try and set these bets and place them.
And then that's why you were then sending them out to all your
mates.
Yeah,
and then I send them out to all my mates and all that, and spoke to them about it and had their suggestions. Which line do you think will get up, kind of thing. But now it's so much easier. I'm able to place some 5 or 6 bets, maybe a little bit more on the Saturday in about 10-15 minutes. And then, go out and enjoy my night with my friends or at home or anything else.
Yeah. And you've made, 500, 600 ROI since...
Yeah. Which is
4.5 months ago.
To think about.
Yeah. How was, I guess your match betting experience changed your perspective on investing and, how you now spend your money as to what you previously would spend your money on?
Yeah. Now I think I'm a little bit, more careful in the sense that I know methods that can make me money and kind of thing. Sometimes I view things in terms of bonus bets. So if something costs $40, I think, that's a $50 bonus bet, which is kind of funny to think about. But for me, working at the bar, obviously I enjoy it, which is why I'm doing it. But I make more from a $50 bonus bet than an hour at the bar.
Nice. And are you... what's the question? On your Saturdays, are you spending the day on the computer?
Yeah, usually. Yeah. So Saturdays, I'll get up at around, start at about 10. Yeah. Just looking at over everything. The list will come in. Then I'm kind of doing that. And then after that, the horse system will finish at 3 or so, 4 maybe. And then I'll just turn over some bonuses if I haven't already. Try and bet on some middles, which will end at about 6 or 7, and then I'm able to enjoy my Saturday night.
So essentially your trade-off is working a full week to now just a half-day Saturday.
Half-day Saturday?
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be a half-day Saturday. I just kind of extend it out a little bit because I enjoy it, but half-day Saturday, that's kind of it. Yeah.
Have you done that consistently every Saturday for the time you've been involved, or you've had days off?
I've had days off. Which I kind of get really annoyed about now. I get annoyed when I miss a Saturday.
Yes.
If I'm traveling or I have to be somewhere else or at an event. My family knows now that I'm busy on a Saturday.
Yeah, what does your family think? Do they believe you're making money or do they think you're gambling?
Big journey with my parents, kind of talking to them about it. Because, my dad was just like, this is ridiculous. Why are you doing this?
Is your dad Italian?
Dad's Italian.
He'd be like, no.
Spending the money on this.
Probably his grandpa.
Yeah.
His non will be more like that. His dad wouldn't have an accent.
Stereotype in there. No, that's fine.
That's a home
Yeah.
boy.
But yeah, my dad was very hesitant at the start. I think when I got my first like spare phone to use someone else's accounts, they had a sit down talk with me. They're like, this is ridiculous. Like, you don't need to be doing this. And now my parents have completely flipped the switch and have turned around and
So was the doubt that they didn't think you could make money off it?
they didn't think I could make money off it.
Yeah.
Do you
And
think
then didn't believe
they
that
still
I
believe
was
that
making
now?
No, now they've completely switched around.
Okay, so they believe it's real.
They believe it's real. My dad watches me doing it.
Does he get involved with it or
Yeah,
what?
he gets too emotional, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So he'll watch one race and it will lose, and it'll be like 2 units on it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh yeah, it's just another race. And he's like, oh no, that's like
You lost like
300
$300 bucks.
Yeah.
300 bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
On a
Your
race.
unit size, yeah.
Yeah. So my dad just likes to watch every race, where I barely watch any of the races.
Nice.
So
Touching on
pretty much just
emotion, how have you found your emotion? Did you come in to begin with, were you quite emotional? Has it changed over time? Obviously,
Yeah,
it sounds like you're quite unemotional now by the fact that you're saying, 2 units, whatever, like, it is what it is,
Yeah.
Dad, don't worry about it. Like, has that changed over time, or were you very, unemotional, very robotic from day one? How's that sort of progressed over time?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started match betting, every football game, I love footy, so I'd watch every game, but I'd be writing the bet, and then during the system, every horse race I'd be watching. Not that that's really a bad thing, but I'd be so emotionally invested in it.
I think the key word there's riding. Like, the fact that you're riding.
Yeah. I'm just like,
you're
oh,
edge,
come
yeah,
on,
Yeah,
get up.
yeah.
And now if I'm turning over bonuses at the same time or something, the race will just not be on.
Yeah.
And I'm just
It's
like,
just happening in the background.
It's just happening
like
in the
you
background.
as soon as you put the bet on, it's like, all right, next race at Wagga, this is an
Yeah.
opportunity for non-promo bet or bonus.
Yeah,
turnover. You don't even-
exactly.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I feel like that's changed a lot. I used to be very emotional, now not at all. I know that this will make money.
Yeah.
I know that the system, the Hustler Squad, will make me money over time.
Yeah.
Most, return on investment I've ever seen. So
So, with your journey so far, like, even when was the time where you had that mindset of like, I don't care anymore, I'm unemotional? Was it like I was emotional at the start, then you had like a light bulb moment where it clicked, or has it been gradually, slowly getting rid of emotion?
I think it was more gradual. I
Yeah.
feel like the more that I've learned on this journey and this experience, especially joining the Hustler Squad, talking to community members there, I feel like that's really helped
Yeah.
a lot. Over time, I've become a lot less emotional.
Yeah, okay.
have you ever had like any like, I guess I call it like relapses
That was
of
really
having a
nice,
big losing day and then you've lashed out and done something?
Not recently, actually, which is quite nice. I remember the first time I upped my unit stake, I think we went down 10 or 12 units. And then I was pretty emotional after that. I think that was December last year.
Yeah, that would have been like around December
late
23
December.
or something.
Oh, could
Christmas-
have been tipping that day.
Yeah, when he,
Was
It was you,
Christmas Eve?
David.
Steve
Yeah, I think it was
decided
Christmas
to...
Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah, I was...
He just left the country and left us with a minus
I
12.
couldn't pick
Yeah.
my nose that day, yeah. It was hopeless.
So I think, that was the first, I went from $50 to $100 unit stakes.
Yeah, okay.
And then that day I was like, oh, that's really bad. And then over time, now I look at it and laugh. I'm like, yeah.
So you lost $1,200 on that day.
$1,200 on
Yeah,
that day.
and like, what was your bankroll back then? Like 20, 30?
20, 30,
Yeah.
just under 20. Or
Okay.
20.
20.
How long was that a tough pill to swallow?
It was.
Yeah.
It was at the time. But now I look back and I'm like, oh, I just remember
Still
being really
laughing, yeah.
stressed about it.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, again, ROI. I had to look back at the graph and remind myself, no, you're allowed to have losing days in the system. The
Yeah.
average is 7 units a week, which is ridiculous. I tell my mates
Yeah.
that, and they're like, what, you're making 1,000 a week? And I'm like, yeah, that's the average.
Yeah.
Like that's the average on the Saturday
Yeah.
with the bankroll. Yeah, 7 units a week. It's
To hear that and then like to see people on the other side of it just saying it doesn't work, it's just it's just laughable.
And for
It's
different
just
things
the
you can be
process.
doing,
Yeah.
like that's
If you're not
$1,000 a
doing it-
week from just one simple thing.
That's not including deposit matches, reload offers.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not including the sports system.
Yeah.
That's just the horse system.
Yeah.
Just over 1,000 a week.
General question for everyone. Now that you say deposit offers and reload offers, what's the general consensus of where majority of your profit comes from? Like, question for anyone, whoever wants to go. Because people always ask me like, oh, I'm getting reload offers, and obviously we've been pumping reload offers to people with spring coming, like set up your accounts. Where do we reckon roughly? Obviously, it's it's going to be a pretty sort of rough figure, but
Well, it depends.
yeah,
on,
I wouldn't know where it's at.
I'm a little bit out of the game because
that's why I'm asking.
I don't bet. Well, I haven't match bet now for probably close to 2 years properly. You're probably the two best ones. Steve, you've done a tiny bit.
I'm starting to get back into it and starting to see these reload offers.
Yeah.
But I'm very much setting up accounts.
I think it depends on where you've come from as well as a gambler. So if you've got like old accounts, you're going to have reload offers left, right and centre. But if you're a brand new person who's never invested, less likely. But I think it would depend obviously on unit size. So dollar for dollar, if you kept the unit size the same across sports system, I think the sports system would be the most
Slightly.
profitable.
I would say
However,
that as well.
it's more of an advanced method and it's got the higher bonus turnover on the results.
Would you say as well, sports is higher risk in terms of sustainability, therefore you can't place as many?
Also, emotions. We have only launched that to Platinum members because of that reason, because we are doing the same game multi promos in those methods. A lot of people actually, one person attacked your same game multi video the other day that you put out saying you can actually make money from same gamers, but there's a lot of assumed things that most people don't have, which is like emotions. So when you bet on a horse versus placing a same game multi bet, I think, for me personally, whether you guys disagree, I think there's more emotion or inkling to gamble on doing same gamers than horses. Maybe.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
I definitely agree with that, especially because the sports games often for a much longer period of time. So if you are like riding the bet, you're riding the bet for 3 hours as opposed to maybe a race that's 2 minutes. So I'd find that,
And people generally have more interest in sports than horses.
That's the one. I think it's also interest, but it's also the illusion of expertise, which is like they think they know. Like couldn't tell you much about like the intrinsics of horse racing. For me, it's always been a numbers game.
And this kind of comes back to like people seeing like $1.20 leg going, oh, Nick Day has to get 25 touches.
Yeah,
that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Versus a horse.
The bookies know that too. It's
versus a horse, and they think the Dacos is more likely because they see it every week happen, whereas the horse also happens. It's just numbers. So going back to the question, I think, like probably a collection of everything. For most people, I think it would be the system they're making their most money from. Like maybe you can answer it.
For me, I would make more money from the horses, I would say, the system, just because I can upscale my unit size a lot easier. But if you're just going with one set of accounts, I would say the sports system would make you more money.
And then reload offers, deposit offers.
I think that would get me maybe just over $1,000 a fortnight.
So what would that be?
Profit.
Wait, hang on.
That's $26K a year, bro.
That's stacks.
That's heaps.
Yeah, just on reload offers, I'd say.
Just from reload offers. I've heard they're good. I'm starting to.
I have a few accounts every day.
We'll beep it out because we don't want to give that one away.
Okay.
Did they give you
the
20 racing boost last Sunday as
yes.
well?
Yes.
The boost they give you are full on. Yeah, they're elite. They take you $5.50 to like $6.
Back to the old.
It's a bit of Dave bet.
Nah, worse. It's a bit of Grant.
Grant, it's Grant.
Some of the offers would
boost,
be
$1,000 odds with no bet for commission.
Yeah.
$1,000 stake, sorry.
Yeah, that was how you drain 18K out of an account in 2 hours.
Don't pay a cent of commission.
no commission paid.
Thanks, Betfair.
Good stuff though.
It's
Good. So we've sort of touched on your family, friends, their opinions and stuff like that, which is very interesting. I guess we could potentially move on. So, we touched on at the start of the podcast the bonus turnover method, and you sort of started to elaborate on it a little bit and explained it a little bit. But I think this is something that actually could be very useful for system members particularly. I probably don't see it being as useful for platinum members because they're going to be turning over their bonus bets on Betfair and getting a higher percentage. However, it is another method that people can use. So I think there is it's a pretty cool method. And I do remember, I think you mentioned it to us like a year ago.
Yeah, and you deleted it from the chat. I remember.
Because we were
we
having a discussion about it because it's so advanced. No, you nailed it. We told you this person. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like we explained it to him straight away. Ask him.
What? No,
I sent him a voice within like 30 seconds of deleting it. I said, bro, we've got to delete that from the free chat because it is quite advanced and no one else is going to understand it. It's like literally someone posts a tip in our chat or something, it gets deleted, because people out of context doesn't matter. But you can explain the method. Go for it.
Yeah, so basically when I was working out, when my mate put $250 on the $1.40 favourite, I kind of worked out, try to brainstorm ways that I can make more money from a bonus bet. And I worked out that the actual best way is to put on 4 lines, a bonus bet on 4 different lines, and then cover all outcomes, which is 16 different outcomes. I was just talking to Lenny before, and he was doing the same thing, which is quite funny. And what you do is you'd bet on 4 different games, and on the lines on all those games, and you'd cover every outcome, and one of those bonuses will win. And it was about 75%. But a lot easier is just to do 2 games, which is 4 bonus bets you would need of equal stake.
So and just to clarify for everyone.
Yeah,
sorry. It's a bit confusing.
But it's good.
That's why we deleted
it.
We'll simplify it.
Yes.
So
yes.
2 games, you've got over-under for 1 game,
Yes.
over-under for a second game, and then you basically could put a bonus bet on the overs, a bonus bet on the unders, a bonus bet on the overs, and a bonus bet on the unders. 4 different combinations.
Yes.
And then obviously if you do it for 3 matches, 4 matches, you're going to get 8 combinations, 16 combinations,
Yes.
32, so on. Essentially, that's the method. And you're getting, as you were saying, sort of different percentages depending on how many matches were involved, right?
And the other thing is you'd find slight middles in the line. So most times I'd get almost more than 100% because the middle would hit as well.
You've hit middles as well.
I've hit middles with that.
Fucking hell, that's
which
elite.
is, so my average was a lot more than 66%, which is with 2 different lines, the over, under.
And obviously using different bookmakers.
Obviously using different bookmakers.
For those interested, I'll add a lesson to the Platinum Squad on this.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it could also be even a system method, possibly.
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
We'll see how advanced it can be explained. If how easy it can be explained.
Yeah,
it probably
sure.
can. But we don't want... Yeah, it's a tough one because every time Dick and Harry starts doing it. But again, it's across multiple bookies, so...
Well, it's just another method to add to your repertoire.
Don't do everything exclusively with that because it becomes super obvious.
Yeah, I'd do a mix of both. If there's like a 4+ spread, either the line or the over-unders, so say over 162.5 total points and under 167.5, then I'd do that. So I'd put overs in part of one of the 4 and unders a part of the others.
So you get a 4.5 point or 5 point middle.
And then, they hit more times than you think, but the baseline is about 66%.
Yeah, nice.
So if the worst outcome happens, you're turning it over at 66%.
It's very good.
It's a nice little... Like, people always say, oh, what do you teach sustainability-wise? Everything's sort of doing, not obvious things. So doing this, doing that, everything coming together makes everything just mix up. And I know we sometimes speak in code outside of Platinum, but there is so much more to sustainability than for example, promo ratios, which people think is just, do 1-to-1 and you'll be fine. It's that's it. There's not much more to it. There's heaps more to it. So
how has the sustainability affected your match betting journey?
Yeah.
From the start, what you were doing and then what you now know, how has that changed?
Yeah, so from the start, before I joined the system in the Hustler Squad, I would rinse through sets of accounts pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I had no idea about sustainability or kind of that it was a thing.
Yeah.
And I just kind of worked out the maths behind promos and thought, this is guaranteed profit. And then I started getting banned almost everywhere. And then since joining the system, I think 3 or 4 accounts have been banned since then.
Yeah.
And that's me out of 100 plus, obviously.
And how long's that been?
Yeah, a lot of different. A year.
Yeah. So a
year. More. It would be more than 100.
Can you just repeat that for all the people out there that say you can't make profit off the bookies and you're gonna get your accounts banned?
Keep saying it because we're happy for you to believe it.
Yeah.
Even though he's a paid actor.
But we don't want to be like, oh, we told you so. It's just we know this happens. This is what we do. We teach. The community knows it, but people refuse to believe it from other services, and there's a bit of an agenda around. Just you'll last 3 months. Take as much as you can, then just move on. It's do it properly and you'll actually have your accounts looked after. So continue on.
Yeah, so one set of accounts was kind of banned all the way through. And then, now no accounts get banned. Or if they do, it's pretty unlucky.
The shitty ones.
Yeah, the smaller bookies, kind of, sometimes. But it also allows me not only to keep my accounts running, they give reload offers.
Yeah.
They kind of never knew that. And yeah, the bookie that we mentioned before and a few others now sending me daily, weekly reload offers on some sorts of accounts.
So on top of that, just to clarify, you've been doing this for 12 months with sustainability. You've had hundreds of accounts and only 3 bands. And on top of that, you get the reloads and deposit offers too.
Yes. Whereas, if I didn't join the system, I don't think I'd have many accounts running at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, the account sustainability is a big thing that I try really hard to do. So, and obviously learned it all through here. So it's a lot more feasible than people think. People that I've spoken to that, like I started with the sports system that I made with them, they've kind of had all their accounts banned because they just bet on just promos, and then they go, oh, that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you're just betting on promos. So yeah, the sustainability is a big part of it.
Did you come from another service? Did you trial any other services before us?
Not before you guys.
Okay.
While in the system, I trialed other services to kind of see what they were doing, and maybe I'd learn one thing from them. Yeah. And I learned nothing from any of them. Okay. That I wouldn't learn here. Yeah. Kind of thing.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
What did you find like the key differences between other said services and our services?
I think this service is a lot more personable than I feel a lot of, like, you'll reach out to the people. Yeah. You know, if they have any questions, even if they're not a paid sub, I feel like other people wouldn't really do that. And just like how neatly laid out the tips are as well. And the sports system and the horse system, just like, icons of the bookies, and other people that I've seen just have the bookie list in notes. Yeah. You know, with no colours or anything, which I think is a bit funny. So like, you're running a service that you're paying more than here for, and you've got your tips in notes. I just didn't.
So it's just easy for you to...
details.
Yeah.
In note, like the iPhone notes?
The iPhone notes.
Yeah, right. Should start doing that.
Everyone, I reckon you were giving me shit for getting all the fonts of all the logos. And
trust me, that really helps.
Yeah,
that's like one of my favourite features. Yeah. It looks pretty every Saturday.
Just an overall nice bit of energy going into the product, I think.
Yeah.
We like
you guys actually care.
Yeah. Which it's nice that people appreciate that.
Yeah, it is good, yeah.
Because we spend a lot of time doing fucking shit tasks that we hate. But it is what it is.
Awesome stuff. Well, is there any other particular match betting things we want to sort of discuss?
Do you have
any questions or stories that you want to share?
Questions for us or anything?
Yeah, just I think you should just kind of get started. I don't really. I feel like
to other people.
Yeah. I just feel like even if you don't have high bankrolls, if you have $100, you could sign up to 2 different bookies and make $60.
Yeah.
I just in 5 minutes of work. Funny story from work. Some people don't really believe the money and stuff. And then I was working a night shift at a bar a Saturday night, and I hit a few middles on bonuses and stuff, and the system went up maybe 15 units that day.
Nice.
So already just from the horse system, it was 1,500. I was at $100 unit sizes then. And we're getting paid $30 an hour, mopping the floor at the bar.
50 hours.
And then
it's hard to. Is it hard to motivate yourself to go to work? Obviously, you're going to work.
I'm going to work for
different
the
reasons.
but
but that's hard to be like.
That's why I never worked anyway. I just match bet.
And my mate, he was mopping the bar floor at 2 a.m, and he goes, "So how much did you make today?" And I was like, 4 or 5K. And he looked at me and he was like, "You idiot."
Oh, because the middles hit and the 1,500.
Yeah. So it was a big day, obviously.
And he's clocked his 120 for his 4 hours.
And he's clocked his 120 for his 4 hours.
Hopefully he didn't multi the next day.
Yeah, and then, probably the gambler mindset is, if he's making that, let's put all that money on there. But he's a really good kid, but... Nah, that was a funny story, and he's just like, so this actually does make you money. And I'm like, that's why I do it as well.
That's why he does it. Nah, cool.
So was that day that you mentioned back in December, was that your biggest losing day, that 1,200 day?
I think that was my biggest losing day.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But a drop in the ocean in the grand scheme
honestly,
of
a drop
things.
in the ocean. And then other people will hear it and be like, you lost 1,200. That's ridiculous. In a small drop in the ocean.
Well, everything's ratioed. So you wouldn't have a $1,200 bankroll, betting
Yes.
$100 units.
Mm.
It's just, you wouldn't. You
Yeah,
had
of course.
20K
20K
bankroll,
plus.
which is 12% of your bankroll. And that's probably one of the worst days ever in a sense of like, I reckon
It was
we've
like
had
the third
maybe...
or fourth was
Yeah.
recorded? Yeah. I don't
We had
remember.
a minus 15 day back in May 2021. I reckon we've had another like couple of minus 12s, maybe once last September and once last December. Apart from that, I reckon there'd be like 7 days over between
Double
10 and
negative,
negative 10 and negative
yeah.
15, maybe even less. But we're plus 909 units, so...
Just casually.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just numbers, as you said. Like, if you have your approach to it, it is literally that simple.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult because you're blessed in a way, I guess, because you haven't come from a gambling background. Some people, like, especially starting off on smaller units, they're not making that money at the start. Now, $50 units we touched on before, no one starts that now. Like, they get flat out just told that's not possible. Even if they're coming from platinum, they always start less than 25. So you've kind of like done stuff that, because we didn't have the same level of customer service probably back then where we do now, that wasn't addressed super quickly, even though we told you.
Yeah.
But
I think
now,
that was more me just not listening.
well,
but,
I'm glad you said it. So, but no, like what I'm trying to say is if someone comes in on a $10 unit size and they make on average 30 units a month, they're only making $300. Now, people can't comprehend how you can sit around on your computer or on your phone getting the tips throughout the day and only make $300 for the month. What they can't see is in 6 months' time,
that will build.
that's going to be on a $30, $40, $50 unit size, and then they're making $2K a month. If you can get through that, that's where a lot of people, literally, if they can get through that 3 months, they will be successful. But most people want instant gratification in almost any investment, and they struggle to get through that.
Yeah. I wish
So-
someone told 18-year-old me that.
Well,
When I started out, not trying to make the quick buck, how important it is
Yeah, like
setting
getting
up
banned,
accounts
yeah.
and
But it's hard to, even if you do get told that, it's hard to still do it.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
It's very hard. Like you almost, I guess in your sense, and we probably should clarify, you've mentioned sets of accounts, you've talked about different sets of accounts. So obviously, you're using other sets of accounts, which we've talked about in the Lenny podcast, and, we sort of know it goes on within the scope and stuff like that. But, most people don't have,
Sets of
availability.
accounts.
They don't have sets of accounts. They don't have that flexibility to learn the hard way, learn how valuable sustainability is and taking it slow to begin with, because if they lose their accounts, they're done and they don't want to risk using other accounts or they don't have, access to it sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it is hard to, but, it's particularly important for those people. Like you need to be able to, we don't say these things just because we like the sound of our own voice and we like, barking orders and stuff like that. Like, and I guess for you, you've learnt the hard way, but now you have learned at least, and now you're cashing in from it, which is, super good.
Well, go.
Oh yeah, what I don't really understand with some other people is if they're on a smaller unit, it's like, what's wrong with $200, $300 on a Saturday, doing 3-4 hours of work? Is that bad?
There's always comments saying, you could just go work at Bunnings for like $30 an hour, and you can, but unfortunately your Bunnings in 6 months won't be $90 an hour.
Yeah,
Correct.
It just won't ever be that. That's not possible.
And I guess like one thing that I don't like about that comment as well, it's like, you can go work at Bunnings on Saturday, but why not both for one? But also it's like,
do you want to?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
And it's watching horses and
most
like,
people
riding
betting,
winners.
they're probably betting
fun,
anyway.
like,
They'd be betting outside of their
probably.
Bunnings and losing that money on the fucking Saturday night or during the Bunnings shift.
Yeah.
And
but you're learning new skills as well.
Yeah,
like you're looking at markets. You're like you're
your brain completely changes.
Yeah.
100%. You change them. Like obviously we talk about mindset as well, but like I don't know whether you're recording all your bets, like your organisation naturally gets better. Like
A lot of things in my life has kind of improved.
Training
Discipline as well.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Can we talk about his do you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
you can mention
Yeah,
that.
100%.
Yeah.
It's for those balls, don't you?
Yeah.
I had to look
Yes.
it up last night and ask these boys. I'm like,
so-
is it like lawn balls or what is it?
Greeny plays bocce. I'll
Yeah.
let you explain it.
Yeah, I hate to kind of talk about it just because like I don't want to brag a little bit,
No,
but I
brag,
do
get
play.
brag.
Yourself.
That's
Mate,
what
he
this
was
is
showing me
about.
highlights beforehand, and he's dead set hitting like a marble from like 15 meters away on the knocker with a bloody bocce.
Yeah, so I play a sport called Bocce, very Italian European sport, and play that a bit. Get to travel for it as well, which is quite nice, and it's honestly helped there. Like I feel more disciplined doing the system and stuff, and more disciplined playing sport.
Yeah, right.
It's quite nice. Yeah.
So do you have to pay for your own travel with all that? Because I assume it's a low-funded sport.
It's low funded, so usually most of the time they'll pay for the flights
Okay.
and the uniform
Yeah.
and the accommodation during the event. So technically you could go over and spend zero, but if you're going all the way to France for a 3-day tournament,
Yeah.
you kind of want to travel a bit more
Yeah.
or something. So yeah, match betting has helped so much with that.
Yeah.
I'll just go to a tournament and then travel 2-3 weeks after, and
Yeah.
So you've done
That's
a bit of
wonderful.
travel.
I've done a bit of travel.
Where have you been, and what's favourite places?
Favorite place, bit of a rogue one. I love Georgia.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And
Speak
Eurasia.
Russian there or Georgian?
Georgian.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Is it
got a
similar
home.
to Russian?
It's similar to Russian,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I was up northern Georgia,
Fuck,
just
I mean,
randomly.
They got
That's
elite
very nice.
hikes and mountains.
Yeah,
and
beautiful
stuff?
hikes.
Yeah.
I went on, a hike across, a church up there, and then there was a hike to the Russian border, which was beautiful.
Nice.
Favorite place. Never been to South America. I think that's
Yeah.
the next place. I'd love to go there.
South America's fun. I've been there. Spent
Yeah.
6-7 weeks there. It's
What'd you do
huge.
there?
It's massive. Hey,
Mm.
What'd you do there?
what did I do there? Yeah, just hung out. Yeah,
hung out.
Sort of places. Yeah. No, there was a nice.
What countries?
Hey,
What countries?
I did Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia.
Oof,
I loved Ecuador.
nice.
Ecuador's very cool.
Nice.
If you like your adventure sports,
Mm.
Ecuador's the place to go.
Yeah.
Where else apart from Georgia? Any others? Were you
I was
done
in
mainly
Canada
Europe
recently.
or-
So?
Europe or
Yeah, Europe. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough with bocce. A lot of the World Championships are in Europe, so usually I'd go play that and get to travel a little bit. Berlin's really cool. I really like Berlin. Seen a bit of Spain, Italy,
yeah, nice.
yeah, Greece, of course. Been from there and stuff. But
Very nice. Is this a
Yeah.
so? Is it a yearly World Champs?
yeah, so I'm still in the junior category, which is under
Okay.
23s. So that's every year, and then the men's seniors are every 2 years, which is pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Is
Yeah.
it much of a competitive sport? Like, how many people play it?
In Australia, it's quite small, so it's quite easy to qualify for Australia. I do put a lot of work into it, so it's not.
Don't sell yourself short.
It's
No,
yeah,
to
it's
be
not-
the best in
Yeah,
the,
it's-
like top whatever in Australia, that's awesome.
yeah.
It's elite.
But overseas, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot bigger
Yeah.
and stronger, and yeah, some of the leagues, like club leagues that they have in Europe, is insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, and France are the top 4 leagues in the world.
How did you work out you were good at it?
I kind of just started it, and then
Just mopping up Nonna and
mopping up Nonna and Nonna. And they were kind of like, yeah, you should try it for the state team. And I was
Yeah, okay.
11, and there was an under 15s category, and I beat the other states.
Yeah, nice.
And I was like, oh, okay.
And they were 15.
And they were 15, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's elite.
I actually might be good at this. But yeah, I was playing footy and basketball all the way through there, but now I'm just playing bocce.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I kind of do that a lot, and it's opened up a lot of opportunities as well.
Very cool.
If you want to travel, get into bocce.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the
Exactly.
goals with firstly like your match betting profit, or like if you have any objective and what do you call them? Not subjective, but like just any other goal apart from profit as well as profit, and then also what else? Like where do you want to go in the world or travel, or what are your goals in life?
Yeah. So for me, firstly on the match betting, I wouldn't mind getting to the 100K. I feel like that's just like a.
Yeah, we've got to get a wall of fame here, I reckon.
I feel like for me, 6 figures would be a really cool achievement. And I feel like I'll just say that so casually, you know?
Yeah.
Just 6
It's elite.
figures would be cool. For bocce, I made, the quarterfinal world champs last year. I wouldn't mind medaling.
Can we
Should
get
be
a
cool.
live stream when it's on?
Yeah, I'll send a
Yeah.
live stream across.
Get in the
Chuck
Discord.
it in the Discord.
Yeah.
But yeah, no Australian male has ever won gold at a world champs. So I think that would be the end goal. Life goal, maybe just, continue to enjoy life, I would say, and to find things that I enjoy. I like trying to be good at things. Like if I'm doing something, I try and put 110% in.
Nice.
So I'm happy that, match betting, I used to take it a little bit less seriously. Now I am. And now I see, my accounts are staying active. I'm making more money. Just makes
Yeah, I
sense.
think your resume backs up what you say there.
Yeah.
The fact that you were what you're saying before, you're the 7th best bocce player in the world for one particular category. You've made
Yeah.
50 grand match betting. You're 21 years old, right?
Yeah.
You're probably killing it at uni. So you've got a pretty good work ethic and a pretty good mindset about going about things. So credit to you.
No. Yeah, cheers.
Awesome stuff.
Do you have any questions for us?
Do you guys have any stories or?
This one time?
this one time bang.
Did you see Lenny when I told him about the backpacker in Iceland, or you haven't heard it?
Oh no, I haven't.
You haven't heard it? Should I tell him the story about when I picked up the
Yeah, I
hitchhiker?
think we'll end it on that story.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Okay.
Fuck.
Oh, you brought it up.
Should I tell him all the details about it?
Whatever you want, mate.
Alright, so I was in Iceland.
When was this?
2015.
Yeah.
So first time in Iceland. Went by myself, and so I'll cut to the story. Basically, Iceland is a country where it's very safe. Like there's hitchhikers everywhere because it's very expensive to hire a car. So driving in sort of a remote place through the West Fjords, like West Iceland, no one really there, but there's always hitchhikers passing. So I passed a couple of French girls and they waved, and I'm like, I can't pick them up. I've got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So whatever, I passed this other guy and he's waving. He's like a tall Polish guy. He didn't have like a backpack or a suitcase, but he had like a briefcase. And I was like, what the fuck? This guy's going to be interesting. And I'm a little bit of like I guess you could call me curious and bit adventurous. And I'm sometimes like to take some risks. So I'm like, I'll just pick him up, see what happens. Anyway, I'm like, open up the door for him. Obviously opposite side of the road. And he puts his briefcase in the front seat. And I'm like, bro, just chuck it in the back. Like there's plenty of room in there. He's like, no, keep it here. But like he was mumbling a little bit. So we start driving. I asked him what his name was, whatever. Can't remember what his name was. And then after like 20 minutes of just talking, asking him what he was doing in Iceland, he starts like looking down at this briefcase and like he just fucking will start swearing at it in Polish or something. Like he's whatever, something. I can't remember what he was saying. And then I'm like, bro, what the hell's going on here? So we were about 40 minutes away from the waterfall at this point that he wanted me to go to, which I was going to. And he gone again. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with the bag? He goes, he's like, none of your business or something like this. Like mumbled, that's all I heard. I'm like, oh, fuck, better like get this guy out of my car soon because I don't like where this is going. Drive down the road another 5 minutes, not much is said. Then he just full on goes crazy at the bag and like starts yelling, trying to search for something. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, brother, you got to get out. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what's in this bag? He goes, none of your fucking business, but like with his accent. Anyway, I'm like, all right, you got to go, man. Jump out. He jumps out, and I quickly drove off because like he started banging the car and shit. Drove off like a K down the road, adrenaline's pumping, and I just looked in the passenger seat, and he's got his bag in the front seat. He left his bag in there. Yeah, that's the end of the story.
Jeez.
What's that?
What was in the bag?
What was in the bag?
Yeah.
None of your business. Fuck. Another culprit.
Oh, fuck it up.
Another culprit.
I was so invested in that story.
Yeah, no. You'll be about the 20th person that's copped that.
Have you seen the movie Reservoir Dogs?
Nah.
Nah, so they're like in Reservoir, it's a good movie. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie, and it's all about like telling a fake story to get a job in and basically be the mole in a group.
Like
so
Lenny.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And so it's like, it's just all character building at the start of the movie, and it's all about this one guy who's a cop, but he's trying to pretend that he's a crook to work with the crooks to rob a bank, and eventually then he can get all the intel so that they, spoiler alert anyway, didn't give it away. But at the start, they're just like going through how to tell a story, like how to tell the story and provide all these little details that everyone believes you. And you've actually nailed that down pat. Like all the little details you put in there.
I've done
like,
it
this has to
a few
be true.
times.
Like, they're just stupid.
No, but I actually did. I promise I picked up a Polish hitchhiker. I can show you the
Just none of
emails.
that happened.
But just none of the
None of that
backpack
happened.
shit happened. I took him to the waterfall. He was
And it was a
friendly.
great
I
time.
emailed him. He still got the emails. He's like,
joined
this
Platinum
is a
League,
pretty
yeah.
good waterfall, isn't it?
He's not Indian.
No, that's how he sounded. I can get the videos and play him. I can find it. I'll actually put it on the end of this podcast if you want.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
go
funny.
through the archives and find it.
No, very
I
good.
fell victim to that.
Sorry, man.
No.
He's Tom's gonna hear that and buddy like,
Tom,
how
mate.
has he managed to get that on the potty?
Hopefully anyone who comes on again doesn't see these clips and
Yeah,
we just
doesn't
get
watch
every
them.
person who comes on.
Like a ritual every podcast.
Yeah. We'll do a comp. We haven't launched the winner of the last comp yet, but by the time this is posted, we would have. Do you want to run the comp?
Sure.
Give
Why
a,
not?
So
a question to the
Something.
viewers, and
So we'll give away what? Money and a platinum again?
we'll give away $100 and
Give away
So-
I don't know if we need Oh, we'll give it out.
There's two. I'll do the platinum question, and then he can do the $100 question. So just think of any question you ask the audience, and they can answer.
Does it regarding match betting or
Can be honestly
whatever you want.
Literally, who's going to win the flag? Whatever you want.
We'll let JP go first. You can think about it.
okay?
Are you ready, or you want me to do it first?
Oh yeah, you go.
All right. So for yearly or platinum,
Whatever.
you can choose yearly membership to the system or platinum squad.
So that opens it up for every member.
Yeah. So, fuck, I didn't think. Something around like similar to Lenny's one last time.
Nah,
No,
too
hang on.
similar.
All right.
I've got one. If
Well, you
if
go.
can't
Sorry,
think of
you
one.
go.
All right, I'm gonna base it around discipline. So this can be discipline with regards to match betting, discipline in life, discipline in everything. Obviously, Greeny over here is a pretty disciplined bloke. You don't get to being elite in the world at something without discipline. And I know a lot of like athletes will say, what's the old saying? It's like hard work will beat talent when talent doesn't work hard or whatever.
Yeah.
How do people? What are your ways to remain disciplined? Now, this could be in the betting scope, in life, whatever. What do you do? Do you try and build habits? Whatever it is, what are your ways to remain disciplined? If you go to the gym, how do you get up in the morning when it's a cold day? You can't be going. What do you do to remain disciplined? And what do you do when you relapse? And how do you sort of just stay on top of your discipline in general?
Who's going to carry the boat?
Who's going to carry the boats and the logs? David Goggins, you can answer this competition.
It won't be Steve, I'll tell you that for free.
And Ethan.
This guy.
Now,
Be Steve.
now for $100 coming out of Greeny's pocket himself.
Yes,
No, he's not
I'm
paying.
paying for this.
He's a paid actor, bro. He was
Paid
using the
actor,
money we paid him.
100%.
Yeah, take it out of your next paycheck.
Just for the audience, when was the last time that Bombers had won a final? I think. Big call. Are you guys Bombers fans? Anyone Bombers?
I'm a Carlton man,
Carlton
so
man.
I hope it's another.
I was going to say
15
Carlton.
years.
Yeah.
He'd be a Collingwood supporter, wouldn't he?
Collingwood supporter.
Unfortunately, bro,
Pies winning
I
the
hope this
16th
ages
flag.
well, but no, the Pies
Mate,
won't be winning
guaranteed.
the flag this year.
Guaranteed winning the
Pies
flag.
will not win the flag.
Pies will not win the flag.
They won't. I'm happy to put my
Mate, Nick Dacos, Norm Smith.
prediction on it. I don't make
Ginnivan
any
coming on as
predictions.
a sub, kicking 4.
Nah, you unfortunately delusional.
How do we do this comp? Because it is a.
Nah,
there
change
is an
the
answer.
question.
Yeah. I like the sentiment, but
Get another one.
someone can Google the answer to that.
And who's answering when that same person answers 50 times?
Q Tempo will probably win that one.
No, have you got any others?
Um,
Anything? Maybe something that's a bit
more match.
more broad, as opposed to a specific answer.
Yeah.
What was it? 2000 and
I don't know.
It's
It was
been
like
years.
2000.
days or some shit.
I don't know. I think it was like
There's
2003
a
or
guy on
something.
Twitter that just like adds a day, I think, every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
I guess I'll say, what's your advice for someone starting off with a small bankroll? What's that?
I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like if somebody had maybe $100 to $200 that they're willing to spend on it, how would you recommend them to start? And should
We'll
they
keep this
start?
general, so I'll rephrase it.
Oh,
What
yes.
is your advice for someone looking at starting an investment with a small bankroll?
Yeah, that's probably a bit better.
Yeah, good.
One on Lenny.
Nice. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I guess we'll probably wrap it up there. Thanks very
Sweet.
much, Greeny.
No, thanks
No
very
worries.
much.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Lenny, do you want to do the outro after you do the intro?
That wraps up the System Podcast number 12.
What do you want to tell them? Because we have a little bit of an announcement. Like we haven't spoke about the new thing that you built. Can you
Yeah,
tell them what that
so
is?
Yeah.
recently just built a new
And a
Discord.
sports system update too. Results.
Yeah, okay. We've recently just built a new Discord for all of our members. We've got all our community in the one spot now. It's an excellent place to sort of get all your questions answered and read through old discussions of specific topics regarding match betting. I highly recommend, if you're a free member, to jump in there and check things out. And regarding the sports system, all right, I think the first system, the original system, is at what, 5.5.
Yeah,
Nearly-
just
nearly
over.
6,000.
Nearly
or-
6,000.
Yeah,
I'd say.
and that's in what? Is it
Not
18
really.
weeks or 19?
18 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, 18 weeks.
Which is-
And the service number 2, the new one, is in the 8th week, and they're at about
Are they only 8 weeks?
8 or 9, 2,500 profit.
In 8 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
They caught up a bit.
Yeah, they've had a real good run
They had
there.
a good run.
So we'll wrap that up there. That is System Podcast number 12.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greeny, for coming on.
Always.
No, our Discord was absolutely horrendous. So we've listened to the negative feedback and the constructive criticism, and we've gone out there and we've built a brand new Discord. I didn't do anything. Lenny and James
Well
did
done,
it,
Lenny.
and it's
And
fucking
James.
sick. And it's already straight away people are talking in there, and it's awesome. Like we obviously want to really.
Do you reckon James is getting sick of the fact that we keep calling him James?
I don't know. We'll see him. He's apparently going to go on the next podcast.
Yeah, he might be on the next one. So this mysterious James. But yeah, well done, Lenny. Well done, James. It's an elite Discord, and
well
as you said, there's value for all members. Obviously, platinum members, system members, and free community jump in there. Particularly the platinum. There's some seriously cool bots. Lenny's undersold himself in explaining the Discord. There's some really cool features in there where basically we're getting real-time data on bans, bonuses. You can literally go through to a channel and people just submit their experiences. Basically, if they get a ban, they upload basically what tips they had, what profit they were at, their sustainability that they had on the account. So you can basically get all this real-time data on bans that are happening in the industry, bonuses that are being offered, reloads that are being offered, and then obviously all the other chit-chat as well. There's some super cool stuff in there. So yeah, massive shout out. Well done, Lenny.
Chuck the link in the description to anything we discussed, free course. And then we can do a code if you want to join the system. Bit of discount code. We'll call it Greeny10.
Greeny 10.
We'll give you the commission for any sub that comes through that.
And keep us updated on the next World Champs or the next adventures, because we'll get around you. If you need a sponsor or something, hit us up. We'll be able to sort you out. 100%, literally, we'll be able to sort you out. So, thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries.
How was it?
It was a pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
sorry if I was a bit nervous or whatever. But
Nah.
Nah, you killed it.
It's elite.
I was more nervous than I thought I would be, if I'm being honest.
I got nervous telling that story first time ever.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Lights.